Hello and welcome, my friend, and next I am planning to show you that how you can replace this BMW 1 series front brake pads in here and how it happens. Okay, and first step is that we have to purchase new brake pads, and best pads for this great German engineer BMW car are original parts. But now I have almost same quality, and these are these great Ferrari cars brake pads. These come from Italy, and there is even this maker, and I can recommend this Brembo. Brembo makes brake pads for Ferrari sport cars and Formula 1 cars and also motorcycles, and they are racing part, and that's I can recommend Brembo. And here is excellent part. You can see in here this code, and then you check that there is your right BMW car, and when we look that they are in they have to be in front area, check in here, and inside in here we have these pads. And why I recommend these pads, Brembo pads, is that if we drive in really aggressive driving, these pads last in very well and no any issues, because this is tested by Ferrari cars, sport cars, and Formula 1 cars also. Okay, and then we start to disassemble these things. Okay, and there is situation that we have to open two bolts in that back area, and that it is good that we rotate this our disc in another direction by moving this steering wheel little bit different position. Okay, and now we are looking in this back area in here and in here, and there are two of these protective plastic caps hat in here, and we can take these hats away so that we take pliers, and when we little bit press in this area and same time we move, bend, we can take this cap hat away. And this is really protective cap hat, and if you lost that, you can purchase new parts from BMW dealership center. This cost about $4 per piece, and I recommend that you use that. And then there is second is in here down area, and same way I bend that little bit. It is in different area. It is in here, and same way little bit compression, and then gently. Okay, now it flies. I take it in my hand. Okay, and then when we have this plastic box, I can install this my things in here. Okay, cool. Okay, and next we need this hexagonal tool. What size is HW7? It means that it is like 7 millimeters, and we can purchase that tool like places like Amazon.com or AutoZone.com, and there is this HW7. It means that that area is 7 millimeters. We need that tool because next we open these two bolts in here back area, and this part fits in here nicely, and there is my spanner, and when I install that in here, normally these bolts they open like anti-clockwise. This opens easily. And there is next interesting trick that we have to take these bolts totally away, because we have to use soon screwdriver in here. And firstly I rotate that in this way, and we can see that how it moves, but finally we need screwdriver. Okay, and now we have to look this area in here, that area, that this screw goes totally away in here. And this is important, both of these bolts. And now we look that, now bolt is moving, now we can see better. And this is critical area in here. Okay, now it comes away, we can see. Good. And final step is that I have to little bit bend this area, that screw in here, in totally away. We can see that yes, there is the screw, and final step is that I have to use my screwdriver. Okay, and now I take my screwdriver, and my purpose is to finally press this screw totally away. This is important, look, that it goes totally away. This is great German engineer innovation. Now it in that way. Now it's fine. This is good, and we can see that in here this is mandatory, that this another part, like in here, this area, it has to be come out in this way, because soon we open that, and now that bolt is free, and then I open this below bolt in here also. And in here we have the second bolt, it is in here, in that area, and these are very well made German engineer bolt, and they open nicely. BMW, they use really high quality steel and excellent materials, like in this brake areas. I can say that best in the world, because BMW cars, they are made for highway and motorway driving with high speeds, and that's these are best. And now I rotate this in same way, so long that this bolt comes out. Okay, and then I have to use my screwdriver. And in this step we can now use little bit this, if we have this big screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, I can carefully bend this away, but before of that I have to take one of these interesting lock pins away. And there we can see this interesting lock pin, what is great engineering by BMW, and this purpose is to keep these brake pads when we are driving in high speed. And now we need long pliers, and I have to take in here this grip and move it firstly in that way, and then I have to pull out the central area, like little bit movement. This is not so easy, but in here now it opens good. And this is trick that these things goes in inside, and these things I have to take outside in. This is a little bit difficult, but in that way it opens. And this is like interesting lock-in pin. Do not make panic, but you need special long head pliers. This is not possible to install in back and out using fingers. This is so powerful steel. Okay, now we have in next step in here. Okay, and now I need again flathead screwdriver, and I can start to bend that, and this can be tight. And this my upper bolt is free in here, and now I check also that this my below bolt is same way free. Look, this is really critical that when we look in here, that we check that this area bolt is in here is free, and in that area we can see in this way. This is critical. Now I check that back area, below area also, and it is in here down area. And now I notice that this back area's bolt is not free, and I use my tool and I carefully move that bolt same way away, and now it's away, excellent. And we can see in this back area now in here that in here we have this bolt away in same way like in up area. And this is really mandatory that you have to see these steel bolts in here and in here. And now locking it is okay, and now we can see that this is like stuck. Okay, and now we can see that normally when we need now, look, big flathead screwdriver, and in this position normally these parts opens, as you can see. But now there is something stuck situation, and always if you have watched Arnold Schwarzenegger, California old governor, he thinks that if something is stuck, we need only force. Like US Army force, US Marine Corps, US Air Force. And now we can see that this is like stuck. Okay. Okay, this is interesting. Where is stuck? And now I use. And now I think that this my tool is too weak. This is too weak. This is like, sorry, Poland army. Enemy is too big. Now we need US Army stuff, and I take bigger tools next. Okay, and now I need really bigger tools. Like if we like to win the war, we have to ask US Army to help us and US Air Force. And now these are excellent tools, and they are steel. And now I start to use force, and like US Army, and soon this is really normally these parts opens nicely, and then I use another tool in here, that area, and I bend both of these. And normally these parts opens easily, but now they are really difficult to open. I bend in here. Now I can see that these are quite well open. We can look in that area. These parts opens really easily, but now we can see that I have managed to move these things in little bit far away, and little by little there is only corrosion, and when I work in here, now I can use my hands. Okay, how about in here? Now I think that these brake pads, there's some issue. But as you can remember, US Army wins always. Okay, interesting stuff. These parts moves, normally they comes out. Now I think that I can little bit compress. Now I move this piston in this ways that this piston becomes smaller. That way. Okay, now and now my friend, it seems that I have to work in here. That one is like stuck in this one. And I need now my hammer. This one brake pad is free in here, but this is like welded. And we can go to look that closer. Now there's really a situation that this brake pad is movable, but that one is like stuck. It's like welded in here. But it opens. It opens when I need more tools. I install my tool in here and second in up and in that way, good. And then look, there is this one and then I install second tool in here up in that way. And when I bend these, it finally opens. And now my friend, this is so bad stuck that I have to work in here a couple of minutes, but soon this part pop up in here. But now the issue is that this brake pad is really rusted in here. Look, it is rusted. Okay, and now I really managed to bend this away in this way, in here, and now this things opens, and this is great. And normally these parts really opens easily, but now we can see that what is issue in here. Okay, and there is really issue that normally these brake pads are movable like in that way, but that one, it is totally like welded. Now in this way I can take that away. Oh, it's not yet. But that one, this upper one, this is like stuck. This is like totally welded in together with this one. And there is thing that now when that one moves nicely, this one in here, that one, it is like totally stuck. And now I have to be carefully that I don't damage these brake hoses. And look, these are these important pins. And now I need my big favorite tool, my hammer. Okay, and then I really need this little bit heavy duty hammer. This weighs about 5 pounds, like 2 kilos. And this is totally steel. And now I hit that in central area because I have to take this brake pad away. Good, and now it opens. And now we can see that what is issue. These parts, there is no this grease, important copper paste, and this part was totally stuck. This another one was movable. This was like okay movement, but this was really like glue and welded in that area in here. Can you see? There is totally rusty. And that's this part have to be movable all time in this way. But now it was like in that way in stuck. But with hammer this part opens, and if we can see in there this material, we can use that when we use only in here this important copper paste. And this was even BMW original part. We can see this logo in here. But this is, there is about 4 millimeters this material left in here. Okay, but now we replace, of course, new parts, and next we have important thing to press this piston back. Okay, and when we have this our car, we have to press this part back in here. And if you are men, like real man, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and your age is 20 years old, you can use your bare hands, fingers, and compress this part in here. But now, when I and Arnold, we are old and weak men, we need some tools that we can compress that. And first one tool is that we have to remember that this part is sensitive rubber. Do not ever damage that one. And now you can also check that this part has to be clean, because there is brake liquid in here, and this part, this boot protects this piston, that one. And that area has to be like solid and no any holes. And if you have damaged that one, you have to install new boot in here. And we can purchase new boot from BMW dealership centers. But now I have to compress this part back. Now I check that I have to be carefully with this brake hose that it don't damage. Now I check that in what way. Okay, this is good way. And now I have to really compress that. And in sometimes when we have new car, we can use these big pliers and compress that. But normally this, it actually a little bit moves. But I am too weak. I am too weak. Now I try again. Really? Can you believe? Now I managed to compress that. It is movable. Look. That area. And I am not like kid by my force. Now it goes back. And I have to compress that carefully, totally in deep, in that way. So long. And then normally we can use a little bit more powerful tool. And I have in here the smaller 10 pounds steel vise. And this generates like 10 times more power than this my pliers. And I can use this device to compress this my piston in that way back. And this is my favorite thing. And now when I use this device, this pistons always goes back. And remember to purchase steel vise like in Home Depot or Amazon.com. And this is good. This my one weighs about 10 pounds. Okay, and now we have this our piston back. And next part is to lubricate and clean these things. Okay, and then we need this steel brush that we can clean these things. And then we need this special grease, what name is copper paste. And we can purchase this stuff in internet like Amazon.com shopping place. and there is important that this grease have to be ability to work within 1100 Celsius temperatures. And we can also use metal-free paste, what is even higher temperature, 1400 Celsius, but this 1100 Celsius, it okay also. It is like 1500 Fahrenheit. Copper paste. Okay, and before of that, I clean carefully. Do not damage this rubber. This is nice, but that another area in here, that one I have to clean more, and purpose is to remove these dirties, and this that way. Now it's good, and then I have to clean also these holes, both sides, up and down. There are those steel hoses, and my purpose is to now eliminate these dirties. And now I take also my screwdriver. And in here, when I have small screwdriver, I have to remove all of these dirties in these holes. This is important. All dirties away in here, in this both areas, and then we go in up area, in here, and we have similar things in here, that area, clean, and that area also. And after that, when all of these four areas, all four areas are clean, check also that they are clean, we install grease in here. The next important part is to install this copper paste. This is really mandatory. I compress that in here, and I take this brown, this is like high temperature grease, use protective gloves, and now I install that in these holes, in all of these areas, four areas, and in here, in that way, and also in this up area, in here, good. And then if this grease goes to this brake disc in that way, clean these things immediately with clean cotton cloth in that way, because this grease, it is not good for these steel parts, and okay, good. And then I have to install this copper paste also in here, in that area, this contact point in this pistons, this area in here, good, and then these important areas in that side, what was rusty in my case, in these areas, remember, and in that area. Now they are good, and then I can install this my grease also in these guide bolts, both areas, and then I install this back and also in that area, in this way, good. Now we have, and that rubber case, in there we can also install this grease, but it is not mandatory. And now everything looks good, and then we take our brake pads. Okay, and then we install our brake pads, and now when we have these brake pads, we can install this grease. This part belongs in this way. In here we install that totally in here, this way, And then we can install little bit grease, this copper paste, in these areas in here, this back area, this way. And this eliminates this rusty. Now we can see that how this grease is there. We can see that how this grease is in here, good. And then I take the second brake pad and note this area comes in another direction in here, that area in this way, that way in here, and I install this part also, and this happens so that it comes in this direction and it went really nicely, look. And now when we look this area, you have to check that now this both brake pads take contact in this brake disc, and we can even compress that in our fingers. And now we are fine, they are ready, and then I can install this my brake caliper. And now let's see that when this hole have to go through these pins, and there is possibility that I have to take these, maybe that inner brake pad away, but let's see that can I install that in this way, that firstly in here, oh, I have to take now this brake pad away and install that in this one in here carefully, and press this inside with fingers. And this takes a little bit, it needs force, and do not press this inner area. Now it goes inside, look, now it's nicely, a little bit force, and keep this inner area clean, no any grease in that area, this one, no in here. And now this is fine, and now I only install these parts back in here in this way, look how nicely they went, excellent. And final part is to install these bolts, these nice bolts in here, this upper one. Now I press that in and that one, and then little bit movement, and I take my this socket that I can rotate these bolts. There is my tool, and now I change direction, and firstly I use my fingers, and we look at how this bolt starts to go inside. It is really important that we can see that this bolt really is in right position, and that's we have to maybe little, and when we look at this area, it have to go deeper, like in that way, and then we can look in here, everything looks good, and then I rotate also this down areas bolt same way, that we can check that these bolts moves nicely. It is really important that both bolts goes nicely. Yes, they goes. And now I use again this upper one. Good. And that one very well. Everything is look. And then we can check that how this my brake disc rotates. This is really important, that they have to rotate freely. And next step is that I have to go to press my brake pedal 20 times, that these pistons takes contact. And next we go to cabin area to press brake pedal so many times that they take contact. Okay, and I do that next. Now when I have pressed this my brake pedals, final part is to tighten these bolts like force 30 newtons, 30 newton meters. And it happens so that if we have torch frames or that kind of smaller spanner, I only rotate that in that way, and then when it stops I can use one hand and use protective gloves, because if I hand slippers there are sharp corners and we have hurt and blood found in our hand. Now it's right, and then this below part. Good, and now these both areas are fine, excellent. And then the final part is to install these protective cap hats in here. They goes by hand, no, not so difficult. And this protects these bolts. Now they are nicely, and of course this final locking pin, and it is interesting thing. The final thing is to install this interesting locking pin, and look that there are small dents in here, in that area, that one, and in here dent, and these parts, dents, they have to go in firstly in here. This is first step, and look, now they are in inside, and then I keep my thumb in here, and that one is in okay, but now I need these longer pliers that I can move this thing in here down. Look, it is the most difficult thing, that one. And if you don't have pliers, because you have to press these things in inside, you have to take pliers that you can move this thing in this metal thing in here in that way. And then check this inner area, that this inner area is solid, that one, and this is that those pins are in here. And now I believe that this is okay, or not. In my understanding, this is okay. Okay, it looks that they are in fine. Okay, let's hope. Let's hope best. Should I move that one in deeper in here? This is really interesting stuff. But now I believe that it is okay. Please comment if you know better this BMW's engineering. Then we check also that all areas looks like in that way, and if there happens situation that this part flies away, we can purchase new part from BMW dealership center, and this part cost about $14 per piece, and use only original part. And this is like, I think that it eliminates this brake pad movements, because BMW brakes, they are best. And final part is that if we like to be really professional, is that we have to install in the central area also this copper paste, because in BMWs they are so tight, these feel centrals, that they can go like stuck, and that's I use my steel brush and I remove these dirties, especially in this area, this area, and also in here. And I install now this copper paste in this area a little bit. Let's take away a little bit compression. Okay, let's look in this way. And now I install that grease in here. That area, this side area, because there is this corrosion point what makes like this my alloy wheel and this brake disc to weld together. Now it's in here, and also I can little bit install in these areas also this glue. And this purpose is that now it is much easier to take these our wheels away because there's no this corrosion. Excellent. And now I am very happy. And if you can see in there these dirties, this grease in this brake disc, you can take clean cotton cloth and we only remove this all dirties in that way. Oh my good. And we can use also sandpaper that we sand these things. And next I take sandpaper.